Coming to you live from the Aroma of Christ Church on Jump Street, it's the 10 Point Podcast. All hail the almighty Korean Jesus. My name is Bruce, and I really thought this podcast would have more car chases and explosions, and less homeless people doing everywhere. Speaking of which, with me today are two Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus looking motherfuckers. First, he'll beat your dick off with both hands, it's Chris.
Hi.
There's the hands in question. And if he has to suck somebody's dick, he will. It's just that he'd prefer not to. It's Andy.
It's true.
Look, the people who come up with this stuff lack creativity and are completely out of ideas, so all they do now is recycle shit from the past and expect us all not to notice. So you pretty much both got a penis joke as your introduction. We are the 10 Point Podcast. You can find us wherever you find podcasts, whether it be Apple Music, whether it be Amazon Music, whether it be Spotify, whether it be Upcast, Downcast, Round the Bend Cast, whichever cast you get your podcasts on. And you can find us on YouTube. Our debut episode on YouTube last week was a success, I believe. No complaints so far, certainly. So you can find us on YouTube there as well. So if you want to see us, you can watch us on YouTube. If you want to just hear us, you can listen to us on your podcast if you found us on either of the other platforms. And we are a podcast, so we don't have an Instagram, I think, because Andy hasn't told me that he set up an Instagram yet.
No, we don't have an Instagram, because why would we?
We still do not have an Instagram because we are a podcast. But get in touch with us however you wish. On any social medias, we are 10 Point Podcast. All numbers, no, all letters, not numbers. 10 Point Podcast, just spell it out. And you can email us if you go to 10pointpodcast.com. That's our website.
And you can give us money as well.
You can donate there, and you can find all our articles that are going up there. Chantel again has written an article this week that I have forgotten what it was. Andy, could you remind me what it was
The
that she wrote?
top
this week?
movies to watch in February.
That's it. February streaming selections, the films that you can find, both old and new, if I remember correctly. So you can check out those there. So speaking of things that we can watch in the upcoming month, what have the lads been watching in the last month? We'll go through this before we get on to this week's selection. Chris, how about you? What have you been watching in the last week, I guess?
I've not been watching any movies, but I have been blasting through the Vikings TV series. Absolutely smashing, like season 4 now. To be honest, I think it's better than Game of Thrones. I'm putting it out there right now.
Oh.
Okay, there you go.
So I don't know if I've mentioned it previously, but I've been watching the American version of The Office. And it's not the same after season 7. And if you've seen it, you'll know why.
Is this your first watch through of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I very, very highly recommend it from me. I prefer the American one to the English one.
Yeah, I don't like Ricky Gervais that much.
Right, okay, but it definitely has a peak, the American one. But I very much like it, and it's to say that it's not worth recommending because I believe it was the single most streamed thing of all 2020. So when people can't go outside, the one thing they decided to watch the most was The Office. But I'm glad you chose it. There you go. Yeah, so very popular. Andy, what have you watched in the last week?
I can't remember.
That's another outbreak situation.
Yeah.
No.
Stomach will click.
Yeah, I've definitely been starting the Snowpiercer TV show on Netflix. Watched the film with Chris Evans, quite liked it. Started watching the TV show. TV show is better than the film. It's one of them rare cases where a TV show is better than a film. And then I watched the new Goonies film as well on Netflix. That's pretty good. I'd call it Goonies 1.5.
Right. Yep. Right. I thought you meant like Goonies like 2 or something.
Well, it technically is, but no, it's not. It's an Hawaiian version of the Goonies, kind of modernized.
Something like that.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of it. I think Chris got it there. But,
something along those lines. Yeah.
It's pretty good. I actually not watching the Goonies in a long time. I actually really liked it, and I think I like it better than the Goonies. So that's some praise from Netflix. So. Plus, it has a couple of Goonies people in it, and they even say "Hey, you guys," so it's pretty Gooniesy.
So the stamp of Goonies on it. Then
it's got a stamp of Goonies on it. Yes, that's what I've been watching.
Yeah. I've finished the original Rocky series, so I did 4 and 5. Rocky 4 is amazing. It is not like any other film I've ever seen in my life. Where someone had done the stats run on it. Like, I'm prone to do that myself. And apparently, 1/3 of Rocky 4 is a montage. As in, if you add all the montages in Rocky 4 together, it's 1/3 of the film's runtime. That's how bizarre a film is. It's a very strange watching experience watching it all the time. Like Rocky 4 is amazing, and Rocky 5 absolutely horrendous. Rocky 5 is. But
what was 4? Is 4 the one who comes out of retirement?
4 is
one fight only?
Ivan Drago is 4.
Right.
So when he comes for revenge, and then 5 is when he is retired and can't box anymore, so he has his younger guy.
One match only kind of thing.
And then the big end match, spoiler alert, of Rocky 5 is just a fight in a bar. It's the end fight of Rocky 5. It's like totally bizarre. But yeah, I don't think I'll ever watch Rocky 5 ever again. If I ever do it again, I'll stop at 4. And one new film that I watched, I say new, within the last year, King of Staten Island, the Pete Davidson kind of life story, the comedian from Judd Apatow, his kind of stable of people and all that. Totally not worth your time. Like it is, it's fine. There's some endearing performances in it. There's some funny bits, but it's 2 hours plus and doesn't need to be. And it's pretty much just about a section of his life. It's not especially funny. It's not especially poignant. It's not especially good. So just don't. It's not bad. It's just don't bother with it. It was a waste of a couple hours really watching it. So there's my one recommendation is Rocky 4 for the week. Is that everything? Anything else anyone wants to touch on? Any other thumbs ups, thumbs downs?
Nah. It's been a piss poor week for films.
We are drying up, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've kind of watched everything. Okay then. In the words of not me, but in the words of Officer Janko himself, Chaka Khan. Point number 1. What is the point? The point of the podcast today is the 2012 action crime comedy 21 Jump Street, brought to us by Columbia Pictures, MGM Pictures, Relativity Media, Original Film, and SJC Studios. Not all of them came up at the beginning of the film, but most of them did. It is based on the 21 Jump Street television series, created by Stephen Cannell and Patrick Hasberg, I think that's how you say it, starring Johnny Depp, that ran from 87 to 1991. I didn't realise it was a TV series. I thought it was a film, the original 21 Jump Street, until I did a bit of looking here. The film, however, was written by Michael Bacall and Jonah Hill himself. Michael Bacall, who famously wrote, obviously, the sequel to 21 Jump Street, but also the screenplay for Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, were his big writing things. But he also had bit parts in some Tarantino films, so Grindhouse, Inglourious Basterds, and Django Unchained. He's in all of them. He's like the tiny little guy. It's part of the team in Inglourious Basterds that goes into the theatre pretending to be Italian with Brad Pitt. He's the smallest one of them that goes in there. So he's like a Tarantino guy. And Jonah Hill, who I'll go on to in a second, most of his credits, wrote such films as 22 Jump Street, as well as this one, Sausage Party, and Why Him, the other big films that he wrote. Why Him, which repeatedly keeps coming up whenever I'm talking about things. So I might come on to that at some point on the podcast. Jonah Hill, of course, stars in the film, and he lost 40 pounds for this film. I believe this was the debut of skinny Jonah Hill. We'd never seen skinny Jonah Hill before this film.
Weird, I don't like it.
He doesn't look right. His face just doesn't look like Jonah Hill.
Considering that I think the last big film he did before this was Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where he's like the waiter that keeps hassling Russell Brand the entire time. He was proper, like, original Jonah Hill at that point. To go from that to this, where he's totally skinny, is a strange jump. And he looks younger. Like, he does look like a high school kid. Considering he's been playing it. Knocked Up, Superbad, Moneyball, and Wolf of Wall Street are the big films I got for him. So some of them are young, fat, and some of them are older, skinny. That's the Jonah Hill one. Co-starring with him, Channing Tatum, who twice passed on the role of Jenko until Jonah Hill convinced him that he should do the film. And Tatum, famous for He's the Man, Step Up, G.I. Joe, Rise of Cobra, and then obviously the actual ones he's famous for, Magic Mike, White House Down, and then Foxcatcher and Logan Lucky that Andy mentions every week on the podcast.
Foxcatcher's good.
Logan Lucky's
they are the
good.
big ones. Anything obvious I've missed? But I think that's the filmography of those two gentlemen.
Nah.
Don't think so.
No.
Nothing jumps to mind anyway.
Magic Mike 2.
There are two main stars. Main stars of the film. So 21 Jump Street, on a budget of $42 million, opened in the US with $36 million on its opening weekend. Final US gross $138 million. Final worldwide gross $201 million. It quadrupled its budget around the world, hence getting a sequel, which came out a few years later. It was released on, that's the original, on the 16th of March 2012. Which meant that it qualified for most of the 2012 award season. It won 11 awards in total, but the big award ceremony that we used to hit on, that this very much hit on, was the 2012 MTV Movie Awards, where 21 Jump Street managed to get 7 nominations at that particular
and
award
got
ceremony.
fucked by Twilight, didn't it?
Well, we'll find out, won't we? Nominated for Best On-Screen Transformation for Johnny Depp, spoiler alert. This film lost to Hunger Games and Elizabeth Banks, her transformation. Nominated for Best Cast, lost to the cast of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows 2. Nominated for Best Comedic Performance for Jonah Hill and lost to Melissa McCarthy in Bridesmaids. Nominated for Best Fight, that was Jenko and Schmidt versus the Kid Gang. I believe that was at the party in his mum and dad's house. I think it was that fight. Lost to a fight from Hunger Games that had the main people in it. I'm not my Hunger Games memory is not the freshest. I know you've watched it quite recently, Andy, but Katniss and somebody versus somebody was the winning fight from the Hunger Games. 21 Jump Street nominated for Best Gut-Wrenching Performance. That was Jonah Hill and Rob Riggle. I believe that was them, the drugs scene face-to-face, I think, but I could be wrong on that. It lost to Bridesmaids, and that was the famous dress trying on shop.
Oh, yeah.
That one, yeah. It lost to that. Nominated for Best Hero, Channing Tatum. Lost to Daniel Radcliffe from Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And the final nomination, nominated for Best Music, for Party Rock Anthem by LMFAO. And they won!
Yay!
So they won one of the 7 nominations. Everything else did not win, losing out to... Not like I was the same as you, Andy. I thought it was going to lose out to some Twilight stuff, because I think it was a Twilight year, if I remember rightly, but all these other films picked them to the post in these particular awards. I'll run through a brief synopsis of 21 Jump Street before we get on to. So the synopsis is brought to us by Sam this week. Sam has written what the film is about. In 2005, Morton Schmidt and Greg Janko were polar opposites in high school. Schmidt did well in school, but his geekish personality made it hard for him to gain acceptance amongst his peers. Janko was a jock with plenty of friends, but had poor grades. 7 years later, the duo joined the police force and they become friends. They finally catch a break when they're assigned to go undercover as high school students and halt the spread of a synthetic drug that many students are getting their hands on and catch the supplier. That's the, what is it? Infiltrate the dealers and get the supplier, as he keeps shouting in the office at them. After the identities are inadvertently mixed up, Schmidt finds himself among the popular kids, including the school's main drug dealer, while Jenko finds himself ostracized and frowned upon by most of the students. Schmidt's attempts to make something of himself leads to a rift with Jenko and threatens to derail the whole operation. Can they get their acts together before the drug spirals out of control? That's what 21 Jump Street's setup is. It was my selection this week, and I picked it because it made a hilarious answer on the quiz when Chris said 21 Jump Pilots as one of his answers. And I thought, I've not seen that film. And I think I kind of tried to pick a film around the year we hadn't done, and we kind of sort of had, because it came out at a strange time of year in March. So I couldn't really do the whole normal awards season. So that's why I picked it. You chaps, what is your experience if you have anything about seeing 21 Jump Street for the first time, unless this was in fact your first time?
I have seen it before. Nicola loves it. She's got them both, like they're both in a double feature, and she thinks they're brilliant.
Right. Okay.
I definitely watched this at the cinema because I was loving Jonah Hill at the time, and then Channing Tatum was kind of coming around to being amazing.
Yeah, I feel like this was kind of a breakout Channing Tatum for me. Like I didn't know much about him until I saw him in this one, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's who this guy is. On to point 2 then, the high points. What we think are the best bits and best things in the film. I don't know who I want to go first. So whoever wants to go first, pipe up with what your favourite high point is to start off with.
I'm going to kind of skip to a bit more the middle of the film this time.
Yay, he's
definitely
going for
the
middles.
high point is when Schmidt and Jenko are both tripping on the drug. It's more so when Schmidt is tripping, because his is a lot more funnier than what Jenko's is. But it's when you hear Rob Riggle absolutely pissing himself, well, not pissing himself, like giggle when he's trying to grab the baton penis.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he gets like a smiley, he giggles when he's pulling at it. That's like one of the best bits of the films.
You can definitely tell that there was a lot of just like improvising and different takes were going on there, that they were just no idea what they were going to do. The tripping in school is definitely a high point for me. That I've got, like, just Rob Riggle is hilarious, but he's always at 100. He's always 100 out of 100 every time you see Rob Riggle trying his hardest. So I thought
he's like a younger Jim Carrey, I would say. No,
I guess so. Yeah, he's not as like he doesn't look as funny. Like he doesn't pull funny faces.
He's not goofy, but he just. Everything he says is hilarious.
I think now's the time for a fun fact.
Did
you know he was actually a kind of US like Marine? Rob Riggle
was.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Genuinely, he was a US Marine, like proper combat action, all that shit. And then he decided that it wasn't for him, and then just became a funny guy in films.
I'll be a comedian instead.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just too funny in the middle of a war.
Because
cracking people up, they weren't concentrating. It's like, right, I need to stop them coming.
there's a great Broken Skull episode with Stone Cold Steve Austin and him, and he basically talks about his military career and all that. It's just like the guy is like so deadpan serious when he talks about military, and then every film you see him in, he's just like you said, he's just a hilarious guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, war's funny.
War is funny. But yeah, literally, I've got as one of my high points. I've got tripping in school brackets, Rob Riggle, and then baton penis. The first two things I've got next to it. However, my favourite bit I think of the whole trip is Channing Tatum in like the band practice room, where he's just full on, just takes a header into a gong.
See, I didn't enjoy that as much. I mean, it was still quite funny, but it wasn't. It was more Schmidt's trip that I found funnier for some reason.
Yeah. I was just expecting him to absolutely run like fucking like proper like 100 miles an hour, rather than just being actually shit and then just batting everybody's little things out and then chucking it actually winning. Yeah, technically he won.
Yeah, technically on a technicality he won, but not really. But yeah, I don't know. It's something about Channing Tatum. Just like you could tell, he was like, "Sod it, I'm just going to throw myself around here." And the fact that it's quite clearly him and not a stunt double. Like loads of other films, they would say, "Oh, that's a really good idea. We'll get the stunt guy to come in and do that," and he just did it himself. He went head first. One of the trivia notes that I've got around this sort of time is when they first take the drug. It's probably obvious, but I didn't notice it when I was watching it. I think it's Channing Tatum's character says that it tastes like Cool Ranch. When he's like when they're first taking it, and then later on you see Rob Riggle before. I think it's just as he's being it's when he's at the Peter Pan show. He's sitting eating Cool Ranch Doritos at that point. So eagle-eyed people would see.
I didn't notice that the first time, but you watch it again, you kind of pick up on it.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know, he is the guy.
Yeah, and it's because like as far as I'm aware. Like I'm going to nominate it later on, but a massive twist. I didn't see that he was going to be like the villain. Like I had seen this before. Like I saw this when this was first around as well, like you guys. But I'd kind of forgotten about 90% of the film. But then when the twist came that Rob Riggle, who he usually has maybe 3 or 4 scenes in every film he's in, and he's always like at 100 out of 100. For him to be actually, he's back again. He's not just being his like one joke character this week. I thought that was good. He turned out to be the baddie in the end.
There's little stuff that he does that makes me laugh. It's when he's just like puts his fingers in people's mouths, and then
put your tongue back in. Put it back in.
Yeah.
And then,
that's impressive. That's impressive.
He's doing that weird like I don't know belly dance with his tongue. Like, I like that. That's good. Yeah. There's a lot of things like that. He just makes me
even when he's grabbing his penis with his mouth at the end. Brilliant.
I've got that coming as well.
Oh yeah, I totally forgot the end of the film. Really,
I forgot about the end.
I don't know if I don't know if the end is a high point, but it's like a full-on action bit. It's another one of these films. We cover them a lot where they're kind of funny all the way through, and then you get to the last 10 minutes and like, well, actually, we're an action film as well, so we better have a car chase and some explosions and all that as well. But yeah, the final scene where who shoots a man in the dick?
It's just screaming as well. I was like, "That's my dick!" It's all his voice.
Yeah, I do have shooting him in the dick as a high point. Like, it's not every film does that particular thing occur.
That nearly killed me. I was absolutely pissed myself because it's like you said, who shoots a guy in the dick? I don't think I've seen it in a film before. And you see it sitting there.
Yeah, to see
it. Fair, the man's got some girth, so length.
Moving on, Andy, have you got an opening high point that you want to give us?
See, I quite like the party when they actually throw a party and then Jonah Hill has his little fight. I think you said it was nominated for an award or something like that.
Yeah, MTV Best Fight, I think it was that one, yeah.
But it's just hilarious, like, because he is a cop and he still fights like a little girl. And you just got Channing Tatum just like whacking everybody and stuff like that. And then when did he actually get stabbed? That is the question.
Yeah, on a second watch through, I was looking for it and I could see no evidence. So maybe I missed it again. But yeah, just randomly turning around and he's got a knife in his back. So, I did like the recurring character of the vase that had like 3 or 4 scenes where somebody would do something and then eventually it just gets smashed as well. So.
And then I wonder if was there actual pictures of Jonah Hill. The ones that looked like Fred Savage.
I found nothing it says that it was or wasn't. So that the one where he says I was naked in that picture wasn't I. Did I have pants on? Did I have underwear on in that picture? That looks so much like him. It must have been him. Like, and he must have been. I wrote this film. I've got this embarrassing picture of myself. I don't mind having it in the film.
One of my other big high points in this film is literally every single scene that Ice Cube is in.
Oh yeah,
I love that man.
Yeah.
That man is more majestic than swearing.
Jonah Hill wrote like that part in the script and all that with I want Ice Cube to be this, so I'm going to write it in Ice Cube's voice. So he got his man.
You could tell that. It's just like even when he's like saying he's like, yes, I'm black, yes, I'm angry, and yes, I'm the like chief captain, which is every film. We all know that, but he just pulls it off even better. It's brilliant.
It is absolutely sensational. He'd like every scene that I've not seen the sequel, and you've led me to believe that he is more important in the sequel.
Yeah, he is way better in the sequel.
Yeah, because everything he just steals every scene he's in, and the teller always on edge anytime he's talking, and it's like he could snap at any point. Basically, he's just doing his job. He's just been good at his job. Yeah.
It's even when he's not saying anything, you just sitting there with a sandwich, you just staring at them, and it's fucking hilarious.
I just think like his whole scene is. Sorry, I just want to talk about Ice Cube a bit more. It's just like even when like he's like talking about them and stuff like that, and he's getting like all the stereotypes. It's like embrace your stereotypes. It's just like yes, more people need to embrace their stereotypes.
I like the fact that they got his NWA band in. Compton.
Yeah, it was a good
straight out of Compton? Yeah, it was.
It was straight out of Compton. Yeah, across the top of like them, of Jonah Hill turning into like a drug dealer in the school, while Channing Tatum was turning into like a great big nerd in the background. So it was a good dichotomy over the top of straight out of Compton. The first high point I actually had on my list was bike cops in the park. I thought the whole bike cop scene was amazing because obviously you're building up to them finally becoming police officers, and then obviously they're just bicycle guys. But the highlights being getting the frisbee out of the pond for the guy, and then go, get your own frisbee.
That would definitely be me.
And then don't feed the ducks. Don't feed the ducks to the boy with his bread, going to drop it in.
I thought they were going to go like me, myself, and Irene and chuck him in the river.
Yeah.
Or like just try and drown him.
Go full on Hank.
Yeah.
And then the he will beat your dick off with both hands.
It means punch around it. Punch around it.
To say is. And then my last favourite bit of the bike cops is when they're celebrating arresting the guy and then full on just teabagging him on the ground while forgetting the Miranda rights. But yeah, just absolutely celebrating like the video game characters.
We've definitely done that in Call of Duty many a time.
Yeah. Yes, ashamedly, yes, that's our go-to maneuver. But yeah, the bike cops, and then even just I watched on my second watch through with the subtitles on, just so I could catch like the lines that I'd missed the first time through. But when they're cycling on the bikes, it just goes, it's like soft-sounding sirens, is what it said. But yeah, that's about the bikes. It's just like, really, it's not scary or intimidating or anything like that. It's just gently in the background. But yeah, I like that. Straight off, I'm enjoying this police team that they've got going.
What's my next one? The running gag of things not blowing up, or things are blown up that you shouldn't blow up. It reminded me kind of like Naked Gun kind of thing, where like you chuck a ball at like a door and the door would just blow up or something like that, instead of like a gas canister doing it.
And we did kill some animals again. We always kill animals.
A whole batch of chickens finally go up, wasn't it?
Every time in this podcast, we kill a bunch of animals.
There's always an animal dying. Excuse me. The car chase where they keep teasing explosions. The amount of times I'm getting ready to count an explosion because I hadn't been an explosion until the car chase happened. Here we go. This is what I'm talking about. And then when the first fake out happened, I was like, all right. And not in that one. I was like, okay, it's gonna be this kind of car chase here. I don't need to pay much attention. But I thought it was a good car chase though. Like it was very well done. Of course, him dressed as Peter Pan the entire time added a different element to it. But yeah, I did like, and then there was a good explosion at the end as well, which paid off.
Wes, one of my stats, a cheeky wee Wilhelm screen as well.
We did. We'll get to that on point 4, but I kept track of them as well. But I straight away I typed in, "Oh, Chris will be happy."
Chris will be happy.
Doesn't happen very often.
The last high point that we've not mentioned, I've just got the Johnny Depp reveal, because again, my knowledge of 21 Jump Street was poor going into this. I didn't know anything about it, and the fact that this guy was just randomly, that's Johnny Depp out of nowhere, just in the scene. I thought it was a good reveal for me, not knowing that he was in the original, but I guess people who did know in the original would be like, because even the same character, like he says what his name is. Speaking of which, all but 2 of all the major cast from the TV show have a cameo in this film. So him and the other guy in that scene, the janitor, when
Peter
they're trying to
DeLuise.
make each other throw up, and then the policewoman who gives him the car, she was also, and then there's a few others as well. But the two who weren't in 21 Jump Street are actually in 22 Jump Street. So everyone who had a major role in the TV show is in either of the films the whole way across. But yeah, I give the reveal that Johnny Depp was in like 4 scenes before he was in the final reveal scene as well. Now, watching it back though, you could tell in the first one that it's him.
Yeah.
That's my last high point.
If nobody else going to mention it, Dave Franco. Oh man, I love everything that Dave Franco's in. Look at Chris.
Everything he's in, or do you love him in everything?
Aye, that too.
Both.
He's way better than James. I don't care what anybody says. He's the best Franco.
I used to think that James was shit until I watched Pineapple Express. He turned it for me in that one film.
I thought he was overrated until I saw Pineapple Express. And for some reason, whatever he does, I don't even know if it's good or bad. Whatever he does in that film, I'm like, I now like you. And of course, he's got a fondness for the Room and that sort of thing. So for making the Disaster Artist movie as well. So I like him for making that. And Dave's in that as well. So
I'm a Dave fan. He's got such a little happy face.
Yeah, he's always smiling. In my mind, when I think of him, he's always got a massive grin. I don't know if it's drug induced every time, but he's always got a massive grin in my mind.
And my last high point is I love the fingering scene. That was a good scene. Because you expect him to bulk. You expect him to bulk at some stage, but then he doesn't, and then the payoff's at the very end when Channing Tatum just bulks randomly.
There is a lot of late payoffs to stuff, isn't there? That they tease things and they finally get there. And then, but my favourite line in that whole scene is just when they're doing it and it's not happening, and then Jonah Hill just goes, "Is it me?" And then Channing replies, "No, it just happens sometimes." Okay.
That was a fun scene. I like that one.
Oh, you, Chris, any final high points?
No, I've already mentioned the guy getting his dick shot off. Okay. I'm gonna try to pick up his mouth.
I've got the end credits. I don't know how long you guys stuck with the end credits, but the end credits are funny as well.
Yeah.
And there are bits that aren't in the film that are like, again, more payoffs to things that have been set up earlier on.
I did stick to it as far as my Wilhelm scream number 2 is in there.
I wanted to make sure, yes, you got to that. Okay, on to point 3 on the podcast then. The point 3 is the low points. These are obviously the worst and least good things that we found in the film. Anyone want to lead off with a low point?
Chris does. Look, I was desperate.
Dave Franco.
You're a monster.
I don't know why. There's just something about him. I just don't like him as an actor. I've not liked him since Scrubs, and I've not liked him in anything else since.
Oh no, see, I hated him in Scrubs, but every film he's in, he's way better now.
He's just one of those actors I just don't like for some reason.
You're a monster. No taste.
I didn't like him as like the villain, but I liked him a lot more when he was like the kind of sniveling kid who was.
He's not the villain. Yeah.
Yeah, I liked him a lot more there, and it seems like a fun guy. Like you could see how like Schmidt would want to be friends with him as well. Like he seems like he's quite a good guy. The character, like he played that character well, I should say. But yeah, I wouldn't go as far as say it was a low point, but he didn't make my high points in any way, Chris.
Oh, this is probably a high point, but who knew that Brie Larson could act? She's actually alright in this film.
God.
I mean, I've seen her a few things. I never thought she was bad.
Yeah.
I don't get why, like, Captain Marvel, she's slated in that, but I thought she was alright in this.
Fair enough. Although they do walk a very thin line with that whole storyline, where like I've got one of my low points as a similar thing, but the fact that like he's not a high school student, and they do very quickly get in. Oh yeah, I'm 18. Like that's established, but still, she's at school, and he's getting very close to her throughout the whole film. But
who said he was 18?
At one point, Brie Larson's character says that she's 18 in some context. I think it might have been.
I missed that.
It might have been in the rehearsals room. I think it might have been.
Alright.
But yeah, so they make sure, like, oh yeah, like he's not a bad guy. Old Schmitty over there.
Still a little weird.
It's definitely weird. But my actual low point is the teacher storyline, where that's definitely overstepping some sort of boundary. Like obviously, Channing Tatum throughout the film referred.
No, I wish I had El Kemper as a teacher.
The perv Chris come out early on. No, like Channing Tatum looks like a 40-year-old man, as Dave Franco puts it at one point. But yeah, she's a teacher. She should be making stuff like that. But then, I'm like, okay, this is going to be a storyline in it, and it has one scene, and then just totally disappears from most of the film, and then she's never back in it. So I thought it was going to be like every time he's in the classroom with the nerds, that was going to be part of it, but it didn't come back into it. And in fact, it just pops up at the end. Obviously, it gets paid off right at the very end.
Yeah.
But I still think either go with it or don't. I think it wasn't either there was too much or not enough of it. I think for the teacher storyline. So I struggled to find low points. So I'll put that in there.
So I struggle as well. Actually, I've just picked stuff for the sake of picking it. Like
See,
the predictable.
Shut
Oh,
up,
you go.
Chris. Aye, shut up. My turn now, bitch. So
I'll start talking. Don't just sit there in silence.
I was talking, you fucking asshole. Anyway, low point is the pacing of the film is like it starts off proper strong and it's like this is good, and then it inevitably turns into which every kind of high school college film does, where they don't become friends, they're all drifting apart, and it's like they didn't actually need that bit, and it just really killed the bit of that film. It's like 20 minutes of just we all know what's going to happen. He's going to go off and get a good mate, and he's going to go off and actually do something, and they're going to come back together and it'll be fine. But it's in every film, and it just always annoys me, that shit. It's like
But I feel like
obvious.
the cops,
That's exactly what I've got.
cops shouldn't fall out in the way they fell out.
Yeah, exactly.
They ended up they were acting like high school kids, which they weren't. They still should have been police officers, really. And like you say, it happened. Every Will Ferrell film has the exact same trajectory of he's great, he has an absolute meltdown, hates all his friends, and then comes back and makes it good in the end. This was kind of the same, where eventually they're going to fall out, like you say. And I felt like, because on my rewatch there, Jade popped in and it was the Peter Pan scene, and she's like, "Why are they fighting?" And I'm like, I can't remember why they're fighting. Why are they fighting? And I had to rewind back, and I'm like, oh yes, because he wants to be in the play is why they're fighting. I'm like, what a stupid thing for them to be fighting about.
He calls Jenko Rain Man or something like that. He took obsession to him calling him dumb. Yeah. So, and he got in too deep.
And my other one is
that he was too deep. Yeah.
They make it way too easy to get drugs in schools. Like one on the back of a chair, right? Obvious. It's like that's the phone number. But then like James Franco is way too trusting on them. Like I've got a text message from Ryan. All right, I'll sell it to them. And then it's like they come in, these brand new people are like day one wanting the drugs. It's like I would be like, yeah, definitely narc. And then okay, you get the narc scene payoff, but still.
Only narcs called narcs.
I'm just disappointed it wasn't that easy when he was at school.
I know. Instead, we had to go and find Mad Malcolm to get some tablet. Good stuff. He used to sell it out of his locker.
The fudge-like thing. Not some tablets. Right, okay.
You never had any Mad Malcolm's tablet? It was good.
I think I probably did. Let's not dwell too much on that. I've got a couple of low points. My next one is them switching backstories is like a movie trope as well, where the fit guy who's good at sports, but just because they get their names wrong, this could have been, oh no, I'm Brad, he's Doug. They
got the wrong way around.
Yeah, I'm actually the athlete. He's actually the. But obviously, it's needed for the majority of the school comedy. Like otherwise, there's half as many jokes in the film.
I would like to have seen Channing Tatum as the actor in the play. See him in types of stuff to see what he would have done.
Of course, we think about it.
Because it doesn't make any sense. He was supposed to be the play person.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that aspect of it. Yeah, so there's so many funny bits in it, and him being an absolute beast at the track and field would have been good as well. Him just like battering everyone and being so much quicker and all that would have been funny as well. But yeah, I think them switching the names is funny enough. But yeah, for them to switch the whole thing and be like, oh yeah, so that was my next low point. Anybody else got any else?
The one we've touched on before is the whole Schmidt and Molly story. But I didn't realise that she mentioned that she was 18. Yeah. But it just made him seem like a creep. He was in his early 20s and he was just trying to hook up with her. It's just wrong.
He wasn't. Like he was, but the whole time he always felt like he wasn't going to, I guess. But
oh yeah, I suppose, yeah. The scene in the Jump Street where he's like texting away, he's like laughing away and he's put his head on the table. It was just cheesy. And
it's like Eric is such a funny. Yeah. It's like, oh my god, shut up.
That was my last point.
Oh, any other point?
Nah, that's me.
Well, it's quite hard to find a proper low point.
Well, my last this is every film gives me this one question around this, like why, and I've got why in capital letters after this. The line that Dave Franco says at one point, okay, the supplier wants the deal to go down at prom, and I'm like, but why? Why does it have to be at prom? Like, obviously it turns out because he was a teacher, but why? Like, why? Oh, we'll do it in the place where everybody from the school is gathering, and we'll get this other gang in, and we'll all do. It happens at prom because that's wouldn't it be privately where there's nobody? We'll go into like the middle of nowhere on a random night of the week. Would be a better time to do a drug deal rather than in prom, because he just wanted to sell it. You could tell that Rob Riggle, like his character, he wasn't working with the DEA. He was just being a drug dealer for money.
Why a pinata? That's like the least inconspicuous thing ever. He's like some big like biker guy's carrying a pinata about. He's like, there's something dodgy about that.
Just getting a pinata for the kids. It's fine.
Yeah, kids love drugs.
Yeah.
Partly so.
I think that's the final low point, so we better move on to point 4. Point 4 on the podcast is the stats. I normally have a stinger around this time.
You hopefully do.
I thought I heard a shit.
You did, in fact, Chris. You heard plenty. In fact, you heard 70 in this film.
70 shits.
I might get it copyrighted, so you can't play it anymore.
That is just the word shit. Shit and shits and any verb usage thereof. I counted bullshits in the other swears. But Andy, I believe you were also listening out for shits.
Yeah, so I keep track of actual shits, and this is the first film we've had an actual shit. And it's when Jonah Hill gets run over by the car and he poops himself.
I don't know why. That kind of thing always makes me laugh. It goes, I think I shit my pants. They did it in In-Betweeners as well, where you swimming from the boat to sea, he just gets out of the water, he's like, I shit myself. I don't know why, it's just funny.
See?
I'm still not sure why that scene was in the film with the car. Like, what was the point of that scene?
Why not? You got a car, you can run each other over with it. That's what you do.
You've got to try and jump over it. Yeah.
Yeah, so there was one actual shit, and there was almost a secondary shit, but it was more of a metaphorical shit, so I'm not carrying it.
And of course, the little image for the drugs was, in fact, a little shit as well.
That was a little shit.
It was. On to the other stats. So I said 70 shits there were. There were 142 other swears. So no, that's not incorporating shits. That's bullshits and other swears, giving us a grand total of like 212 swears, which I believe blows our record at the water. I completely forgot to check Crank, which I think was our current leader with the highest number of swears ever. But yeah, 212 swears this film had, which is an absolute massive amount. Which made it easier for me to count them because there were only 4 explosions in the film. One was the chickens, and all 3 were at the kind of gas station bit at the very end. I didn't count the explosions and end credits because a lot of them were just like, I don't know, just pictures of explosions and all that. And also at that point, the film's finished.
Did you count the one where they're doing the chemistry experiment?
I didn't count that. No, did I? No, I did count that. In fact, I thought I did. I put it in the wrong category, but I definitely counted it. Maybe there's 5 explosions.
It's the point of a podcast if you can't count explosions.
The stats are fluid. They are what they are. I miss half the things in the films anyway. I didn't miss any deaths though. I didn't count chickens because I had no idea how many chickens were there. So a bunch of chickens died. But there were 7 human deaths in the film. 7 people died. Most of them were the motorcycle gang. And this film is 21 Jump Street. So I thought, are there 21 jumps in 21 Jump Street? There weren't. There were only 13 jumps in. That's not a jump scare. That's actual people jumping. And I would say, of the 13, a minimum of 10 were Channing Tatum. He did a lot of jumping, especially trying to catch Peter Pan. He did a lot of jumping. And did they say the thing in this film? Did they say 21 Jump Street?
Yeah.
I can only say like once, don't they?
They did not say 21 Jump Street at any point. It appears on the screen. They said 37 Jump Street. And then go, wait, well, that's not right. But they did not say 21 Jump Street. They said Jump Street a few times, and then they said, they never said 21 Jump Street.
I knew they said the 37 Jump Street, but I thought they said welcome to like 21 Jump Street.
No, he didn't. He just because by that time it's Ice Cube and he's just shouting and yelling at everyone. And then Chris, you've already told us your stats. Have you got any other
2 Wilhelm screams. 2 naked ladies doing it in the bedroom.
And a partridge.
And 1 naked guy. There you go. That was like completely random. Like that's the only bit of nudity that whole film. I could have done without it. Just open the door. Okay, it's people fucking.
I like how it cut from that, and then just as it starts the next scene, Brie Larson can be heard saying, "What was the girl in the back doing?" And then just carry on with the rest of the film. Okay, Andy, any stats from you other than the shits?
No, I keep track of shits, and that's all I keep track of.
That's you. Only shits and just shits. Okay, look, talking of shit, 0.5 on the podcast. It's the 10-point podcast. I'm trying to make a takeaway of everything and all this. It's the 10-point podcast quiz, which was very good last week because I won. So, Chris, what have we got quiz-wise this week?
I was going to try to do something different, but I'll stick with what I know. Who went first last week? Andrew?
You can give Andrew the choice to go again because he claimed that you screwed him over.
Oh, he's going to screw me over now. What if it's one of these ones?
What do you want me to choose then?
Aye.
Right. I'll go first. Yeah. I'll go
Okay. Fair enough. So, what was Jenko's version of the Miranda rights when he arrested the 1%er at the start?
You have the right. What is it? What he said, or what he said to the captain?
What?
What he said.
What he said to the guy.
You have the right to suck my dick, or something like that. I think it was.
That's what I was going for. Yep.
There we go. Hey,
This has already been mentioned, but what kind of building is 21 Jump Street?
It's a church.
Unnecessary, but yes.
Like the
Bruce,
button.
what is the full drug called?
Holy fucking shit is what it's called.
Okay, Andrew,
I'm gonna
what
fuck you.
phrase does the captain have to keep repeating?
Oh shit. Find the. What the fuck are they called? Oh, I forgot the word. Infiltrate the dealers, find the supplier.
There you go, it, you know.
Very good. Well done. Yeah.
I tried to work out which way around it was and which words it was.
You didn't
This
hit the
one's going
table.
to kind of go backwards and forwards. You've got 3 attempts each of this, by the way, but we'll do it in turns. What are the phases of HFS, Bruce?
Is it in order, or do you just want?
No, I just name any ones.
Is it like supreme overconfidence or something like that? Is one of them.
I'll allow it. It's
What?
over falsity of confidence.
Okay, right.
Giggles.
Andrew.
Giggles.
I'll allow it. Bruce.
Tripping major ball sack.
Correct. Andrew.
Something like holy fucking something. The fuck is that
There's
one?
only 2 left.
Oh, what's it called? Confidence, done that. Giggles.
I'm going to need to push you.
I can't remember. Fuck it.
Okay. One more attempt, Bruce.
I've forgotten the last one, which was only appeared once. But I'm trying to remember the one that Andy couldn't remember there, which is like it's like total awesomeness or something like that. I can't remember what it is.
Nope.
That's my...
One more attempt, Andrew.
I can't. It's something fucking. Something motherfucker.
Okay, so... Whoa!
That's where I've got to. I'm stuck with motherfucker.
Nah, you missed the first part. It's fuck yeah, motherfucker.
That's fucking you.
And the last one is a sleepiness.
Oh yeah, sleepiness. Sleepy.
So you started that one. So what was that? Bruce?
I think we both got one each.
Fuck it. So yeah, I think I'm kind of right. So who to start with? Bruce. Andrew. What does Jenko write all over the board when he's high?
4.
Correct. Until you first. What was the sentence next to Schmidt's yearbook photo?
Oh, absolutely no idea. I can't even give you a beginning of a semblance of an answer to that. I don't know.
I'll pass it over, see if he knows it.
No, I can only remember the penis in the picture photo, which was an airplane.
It was a 1 man 3 balls because he's a juggler.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And who was that? Was Bruce. So Andrew, we'll take this one in kind of turns as well. What are the Miranda rights?
You've got the right
You
to
want to
remain
get it
silent.
Correct. Bruce.
You have the right to. You have the right to an attorney, not to be an attorney.
That's one of them, but it's not in order.
Oh, right. Sorry.
You have the right to remain silent. You have the right to suck a dick. If you do it out of order, you've got right to an attorney. You have, if you do not have an attorney will be appointed to you.
Yep.
That's my next
Tie
line.
it up, Bruce. This
So
is
is
it.
it the one between the attorney and the other
Yep.
one?
Or Andrew wins it.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure. Yeah, silent. And I don't know.
Okay,
Anything you say will be used. It could be used as evidence against you. Is it something like that?
I'll give you it. It's anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. So it was a tie this week.
Oh, came through in the clutch there. Out of nowhere.
You completely threw me off because I always know that line, but when you said the right to the attorney, I was like, I fucking don't remember what I was about to say, you prick.
Oh, so somehow
Well,
we're better than the old Janko, aren't we? That we
Just.
that's good. Oh, God, a good one again.
Quite a tense one there.
It was.
Andrew took over.
Yeah, he did. I don't like him being in the control seat there. Right, anyway, point 6 on the podcast is our famous movies within movies section, where we all bring something different to the table involving this and other films. I usually go for your parodies and your references and your other bits and pieces that you can find inside. So films that I could see or find or that were inspired or got inspiration from in this film. Police Academy, that's a bit of a reach, but there was a Police Academy in it. SWAT, the famous, the lesser famous action movie, he had his poster in his bedroom. I was like, SWAT, which I saw in the cinema. So there we go, SWAT. Superbad, The Wild One, that was another poster as well. Superman 2, Back to the Future, Avatar, which because when he does when Channing Tatum's character does his I'm a brainiac and I'm going to do all the specials, he talks about the flux capacitor and unobtainium in that, which is where I got Avatar. Paul Blart, Mall Cop, Face Off, I just got that because the Doves were in it, and then Rain Man, Speed, Peter Pan, Die Hard 2, Die Hard with a Vengeance. They were all my movies within this particular movie. Chris, what have you got for movies within movies?
I haven't done it this week, but I have put me and Andrew and you into the film. I feel fairly obvious that Bruce is definitely the captain.
That's
trying
how
to
I
keep
went.
me and Andrew under control. Andrew is Schmidt, and I'd be Jenko, mostly because I'm just a dumbass. And I can also see Andrew wearing green tights.
Definitely.
And as much as we do fall out, we are still mates.
I had cast you as the other way around, but still me as the captain. But I then put underneath, in reality, we're actually the 3 nerds in the chemistry class.
Yeah.
Andy, movies within movies, it's your particular forte. What have you got?
I could have went every which way this one, but the most obvious one and the most foolproof one that has no flaws in it is that Channing Tatum gets kicked out of the Jump Street program because basically he just wasn't that smart. So he decides to go to a strip club, but actually he doesn't go to the female strip club. He goes to a male strip club and becomes a dancer and makes it big and becomes Magic Mike.
It very much made it big. Yes, it did. A good one. I like it. And under this section in the podcast, I've got point 7, and then it's blank. Andy, I believe you're going to fill in the blank for us. Point 7, what is point 7?
Well, I forgot to mention that Channing Tatum made an appearance in Haywire.
He did.
As a keeper of the universe. I forgot about that.
You do keep all our crossover stuff.
We were actually talking about that. We thought you were completely
He was the only one.
And think he was in Scanner Darkly.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, we thought
we always
thought
have
forget which film he was
we always
in,
have conversations with production meetings about you, Chris, to see what you're going to do and how we can counter it. So, well remembered, Chris. Well remembered.
Yeah.
So I went through like at least 20 people to see what movies they were in, and he was the only one that appeared in any other movie that we've done.
So as you were saying, Bruce, this is my segment, which was taken over from Chris last year, who did Riddle Me This, trademark by him, obviously. No other franchise. Yeah. Last week we did Would You Rather. This one is on a similar theme. Since it's all college, high school and all that, and it was always the question that everybody asked you in the playground, which was shag, marry, and kill.
Right, okay.
So, Chris has already seen where this is going.
Where do you go with this?
So, shag, marry, and kill, your 3 choices are Channing Tatum, Jonah Hill, and Brie Larson.
Right, okay.
Chris, you're first.
Oh, that's tough.
I'd marry Brie Larson. I'd kill. No, why am I going first here? Because
you've gone first.
You're just going to stop and be like, "Oh, Chris is going to shag some guy."
We're all answer.
So I would marry Brie Larson, just so I could do it more than once with her. I'd shag Channing Tatum, and I'd kill Jonah Hill.
I'm with you, Chris. It's flawless because your logic's perfect there. You've got Brie Larson for the rest. You've got to power through Channing Tatum once, which I don't think will be too much of a chore.
You'd be gentle.
I think he's got the moves. He's got the moves. He's got the Magic Mike-ness going on. And Jonah Hill, I think he's a beast in bed, so I think he might ruin you. So you kill him first. It's always the quiet ones. Never trust the quiet ones.
I've gone literally the exact opposite direction. I don't think I agree on any of them. Yeah, me and Jonah Hill will be very happy for the rest of our lives. He's a funny guy. Me and him would be on well, and we could have a platonic marriage. I think.
Oh, you never thought of that. You don't have to do it.
If me and Brie Larson, we'll have a fantastic night together. Me and Brie, but Channing Tatum, he's gone. He's like his days are numbered. So yeah, me and Jonah happily ever after.
I never thought about the fact that you don't have to do it. Bastards.
Very good, Andy. I like that. And you've given your answer. I was going to throw back to you, but you've already given your answer. On to point 8 then. Point 8 is our nominations. We can nominate anything and anyone from the film for the 10 Point Podcast Pointy Awards at the end of the season. I'll lead off. I've only got a few here. I haven't gone all out like I do sometimes. So I've gone best song straight out of Compton. So I thought it was a good fit for the montage, plus also Ice Cube sings on it, or raps on it, I should say. Most unexpected person to show up. I'm going for the first time I watched this. I was not expecting Johnny Depp to show up, so I have to put that in here as a film. Worst costume / hair. Teenage Channing Tatum's hair, where he had this long hair right above his face. The headmaster's office. I thought it's meant to be bad, but it is pretty damn bad. I've gone for the best twist is Mr. Walters being the drug dealer at the end. It's definitely a great twist I don't see coming. I've gone. I've nominated the same person for 3 awards that are all exactly the same here. Best supporting, Ice Cube. Most underused, Ice Cube. Best cop, Captain Dixon, brackets, Ice Cube. He gets all 3 of those. But I've gone worst cop as well is Jenko, because he's pretty bad. He doesn't know the Miranda rights, and he's dumb as well. So they're my nominations for the pointies. Who's next? Chris, you look like you're ready to go, chomping at the bit.
I'm just going to trick him. I've gone for best song, the Chemistry Nerd singing, spoiler alert. Like the actual proper best song is Real Slim Shady.
It's a good start.
That's a good song.
Best, like identical to Eminem is amazing at the start.
Best line, I've gone for Jenko. Want me to beat your dick off? I'll beat your dick off with both hands. Like, I try to say badass stuff like that, it just doesn't come out. It comes out wrong. Best actor, I'm going for Channing Tatum over Jonah Hill. Right, Jonah just plays the same character like he always does, and Tatum's shown a little bit of range.
I think he made me laugh more. I think Channing Tatum, like he was funnier than Jonah Hill was.
Yeah. Best supporting actor, I agree with you, Ice Cube. Like anytime he was on screen, it was brilliant. It was funny. And best twist, I'm going for Johnny Depp this time.
Yeah.
Like when I first watched it, I just thought it was a random cameo. But now he's part of the TV series, like it makes sense.
Right.
Worst cop has to be Schmidt and Jenko. Like cops, sorry. Like they can't catch bad. Well, I know they eventually. I know they eventually caught the bad guy, but like Schmidt makes out with what I thought was an underager, and Jenko punched a gay black kid.
He did.
And then in the fight, they all punch a whole bunch of kids.
He turned out to be gay after. He didn't punch him because he was gay. He punched him, and then it turned out that he was gay.
And best fight, the party.
Party fight. Good call.
That's me.
What about you, Andy?
I'm not going to do all the stuff that you guys have done, so I'm just going to add stuff in instead. Most unexpected death out of nowhere, Johnny Depp getting shot through the neck.
Yeah.
Because didn't see that coming. Random cameo, and this like you guys won't have a fucking clue, but for me it's definitely Peter DeLuise, which is Johnny Depp's partner. Because
he was there, but I didn't know who he was.
Yeah, he's in loads of Stargate for me, so yeah, that's just a random person for me.
Is it?
Yes. The TV series, Chris. He looks confused. Go
back and watch it.
What else have I got that you guys have not done? I think that's about it then. Worst plan. I'm going to put worst plan.
I was trying to fit worst plan in. I couldn't work out what was the worst plan.
The worst plan is sending those two into high school when they look 40-year-olds.
Okay. Yeah, Channing Tatum looking like he's 40. Yeah, that's probably quite a bad plan. But I was looking at the category. I was thinking there has to be a worst plan in here.
No, definitely go with that. Sending a 40-year-old in to be a high school student.
Pinatas might be a second. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of nominees there. On to point 9. This is our moral of the story. This is what we feel like the lessons have been learned with the film. Andy, have you tried to do a haiku? Because you were threatening me you were going to try and better my haiku.
Well, I was thinking about doing a haiku, but the highest one I could find was one on like old Ben Nevis. So that's currently the highest coup I have found.
Right, okay. Do you want to give us your moral of the story then, since you were unable to find a haiku?
Yeah, so my moral of the story is drugs, not all that bad.
Yeah, not far off. What about you, Chris?
I don't know how many times it needs to be said in the podcast. Don't make out with underagers. It's just wrong.
She was legal. She was 18, Chris.
Yeah, she was 18.
Well, I didn't hear that, so all my stuff is based on the fact that she was underage.
It's still a good lesson, however, to
It is a good
abide
lesson.
by. You could say for the teacher, I guess. He was overage as well. Never mind. Anyway, my moral of the story.
I would
I've done
happily have accepted that if I was at school.
in the form of a haiku. My moral of the story. I believe this fits the haiku rhythm. Holy fucking shit! It's inside the piñata. That's not a sex thing. Is my moral.
Hey.
Everyone kept saying that was the.
That's better than my haiku.
On Ben Nevis. That's point 9. On to the final point. The 10th point on the 10-point podcast is the 10-point rating. As I was the picker, I get the privilege of going first. Had seen this only once. I could remember it being good, but I couldn't remember it being like exceptional and not thinking that was a hilarious film. I just remember being that was quite good. On a rewatch, I think I'm pretty much exactly the same, where it's an enjoyable hour and 3/4. I think it was about an hour and 3/4, wasn't it? I would definitely watch it again. I've not been put off. I've not thought that's me never going to watch that film again. It's not as funny as it could be. I think there's a couple of bits here and there that they could be improved upon to make it really, really good. So I'm going to go a solid 7, I think it is, because it's both good and funny, I think. So that's me. I've got Chris as being next on my run sheet here. So Chris, what have you given him?
I'm giving it a 6. Like the chemistry between Hill and Tatum is what makes this film as good as it is.
Yeah.
I kind of lost points though because of the unnecessary love story between Schmidt and Molly. And like I said, if you start pulling at like little plot holes, like the whole entire film just starts to unravel. But I still find it entertaining, and I'm going to watch it again at some point.
Yeah, same. What about you, Andy?
I'm pretty much the same as you. The only thing I've got to add is Channing Tatum is like one of the better things about this, and surprisingly, Jonah Hill's the weaker one out of the lot. Ice Cube steals the show. Brie Larson's underused. The story's all right. It does kind of, if you don't watch it for long enough, you do forget bits of it.
Yeah, like I did. Yeah.
But I'm a massive 22 Jump Street fan. It's one of these ones where I like the sequel better. And this one just scrapes a 5.
Andy, I would say that gives us a good 7 across the board. So 21 Jump Street, final score of 6. Did I say 7? I meant to say 6.
You said 7.
Yeah. 6. I said 7, but I meant a 6. I was looking at the number 7 when I said it. A 7, a 6, and a 5 means the official 10-point podcast rating is a 6. And around this time, I usually get really excited, as we do every third week on the podcast. As normal, me and Andy have been getting excited and hyped. It is the tri-weekly, if that means every third week. It's the Chris selection on the podcast. It's Chris to pick next
We never know what we're going to get.
He has the entirety of all of cinema, with the exception of 42 films to pick from. So what has Chris picked for us to watch next week?
I've kind of struggled to narrow down like one film. I've had like about 6 films till today, where this film came out of nowhere, and I am going for The Mummy. The original Mummy. So, like the one with Brendan Fraser.
The Brendan Fraser one.
Right, not the original, the Brendan Fraser Mummy.
I'm going to say something from like the 1950s.
Oh, yeah, no, fuck that. Brendan Fraser one.
All right, good.
It fits. Also, it fits into the little category that I'm doing.
It almost fits. It almost fits into the one I thought he was going to go for, Bruce. There is what I said. There is a bit in that film, so.
Right. Okay. It's not really what I said. I think I was the wrongest.
No, I don't know. The old one is.
So what do you think?
Oh, the old one is spot on. No, I guessed classic horror was where you were going to go. I thought we would get, because we always wanted you for not liking anything before the year 2000, so I thought you'd probably go, okay, I'll go an 80s horror film or something like that.
That's 1999, so it just sneaks in.
There we go.
And my one was I was thinking you're going to pick something prison-like, so something to do with prisons. Now the Mummy, the bell end's locked in a sarcophagus for fucking millions of years, so I think I've got that right there. He is in a prison. Why not? That's what we thought. We were trying to get into Chris's head.
See, the film that I've got, I was going to pick is quite an old one, but I can't get it anywhere, so I need to wait for it to come out somewhere or buy it on DVD.
That's a good point. I don't know if I can get The Mummy. I'll have to have a look at the end. But yeah, The Mummy is next time. So everyone has got 1 week to watch The Mummy, and then you'll catch us. I believe Mondays is our new date. Is that right, Andy?
Yeah, it goes up on Monday morning, so you can watch it when you're commuting to work, unless you're working from home. Yes.
Yeah. You can watch it at home or listen as you're on your way to work. But if you're driving, but if you're on the bus, you can watch us too. So catch us next Monday for The Mummy.